My name is Michael Carnes-Capricorn, and I'm one of the co-founders of Skillshare.
Can you just real quickly talk to us about what Skillshare is and what your kind of the vision is of it?
Yeah, Skillshare is a community marketplace for offline classes, so people take classes on literally anything from raising money for your startup to how to bake bread. And the vision behind Skillshare was to turn every single city into a huge campus and turn every single address into a classroom and every single person into a student teacher. So while most people would say, NYU is a great university, we would actually say that the city of New York can be one of the world's best universities in the world because through the power of the internet and the web.
And how does this fit into sort of the larger P2P economy that we see emerging, like with Airbnb and Get Around and some other Kickstarter?
Yeah, I think Skillshare kind of fits into that same realm with Airbnb and Kickstarter, where we are a pure marketplace. Students get connected directly to teachers, but we also have a community layer over that. And I think that's probably when the trends you'll start seeing a lot moving forward, is building communities around trust and reputation.
How big can this get? I mean, where do you see this going when it's all fully built out?
I think it could get pretty big. I think if you build a community of students and teachers and lifelong learners, you could do everything from doing offline classes to online classes, releasing accreditations, having people apply for jobs, and signaling to future employers that they actually learned the topic or the skill that they say they did by teaching, through our platform. As you probably know, education is one of the biggest industries in the world, and I think it will continue to be so.
Now, I mean, there are some other ways for things to have happened like this, like Craigslist or some other, I think you talked about, you set this up originally on Eventbrite. So, what has been missing, I guess, and what's kind of happening here?
I think, I've thought about this question a lot. I think right now, I always default to just timing. I think a lot of things have happened, trends-wise and macro-wise that didn't happen 5 to 10 years ago. And I think you have companies like Meetup and Airbnb and Kickstarter kind of paving the way, getting people used to trusting each other on the internet. We're just continuing riding that momentum. And I think one thing that we're noticing is a lot of people never really thought about teaching. And I think people are more receptive to that today than they ever were. And I think, what we're starting to see is a huge community of teachers starting to pop up. And, a lot of our students are going to classes, they're always emailing us with class ideas they have. So I think it's just like a new idea, and it's like that we've planted in a bunch of people's heads, and they've started thinking about it in a different way.
You mentioned Airbnb, and they've gone through a little rough patch right now. What have you learned from their situation, and how big is the issue of trust in a kind of P2P economy?
What happened with Airbnb is kind of unfortunate, but I think it's going to happen with any companies that pave the way, and they are going down a direction that's never happened in the history of the internet. And I think how they handled it was A-class, and I think it was a big lesson to every other company that's P2P or operating in the collaborative consumption space, that you do have to build a community around trust and reputation. And not only does it have to be in your communications, but it also has to be embedded in your product and your customer support and your PR. And I think it's a lesson learned for a lot of companies, and I think companies like ours and Kickstarter and any other P2P startup that pops up is going to take that a lot more seriously now.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the kind of the key lessons that you take away from your early days here, and just what have you done right that you feel like, hey, this is what we come back to?
Yeah, I think the advice that we got from every single entrepreneur that built something similar, as far as like P2P and community marketplaces, is to really focus on your community in the early days. There's nothing that could, the biggest, you could build a great website and a great product, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to our community. So we were really focused on that in the early days, and we still are. We talk to all of our teachers, we attend as many classes as we can, we teach as many classes as we can, and I think it's just that personal touch that allowed us to really build an engaged and receptive community, and building the right product for them, and having them attract other very like-minded people. So I think in the early days, your community can make or break you, and understanding that they are and will always be one of your most important things as you build a business.
So now what's the immediate plans in the months to come, and where do you see yourself like at the end of the year and the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think, right now we're really focused on the product. We're really focused on releasing key features around trust and reputation, making it really easy for teachers to put up classes, and really making it really easy for students to meet each other and have a great experience. On the community side, we're really focused on New York, making sure that we can get as many teachers and classes up on the site and have as many students attend those. And we're also going to probably roll out to San Francisco and Philly and Boston and LA. And the idea there is to figure out how do we scale to other cities, and once we're there, how do we grow those. I think once we figure that out, we'll probably slam on the gas pedal and really try to take this and grow this as big as possible.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.